They both have shadow stepping ability. They all basically opt in aberration. They both have obfuscate. They both have nightmare. It's that Conrad Curtis can see the future. She knows who's going to be a murderer and kills them before they commit the crime.
Oh, no. He kills everyone that commits a crime. Like, he killed a lady committing suicide. You're trying to commit suicide here? No.
Can't do that.
I'm going to pull your
I'll
skin.
kill you.
Yeah, he's one of the coolest villains because he doesn't know he's the villain, and he's like,
Those are the best. Those are the best.
That doesn't realize he's the villain, and as soon as he figures out he's the villain too, he needs to die. He allows the assassin to kill him that he saw in the future was going to kill him.
That's pretty cool.
It's just the coolest story for this character.
He's definitely the most goth Cassandra syndrome character ever.
He's like a lawful evil character that doesn't know he's lawful evil until he realizes he's lawful evil, but he's lawful enough to have himself killed.
All right, welcome everyone. This is Gonzalo Herrero, your master of ceremonies here at Rise 41. Today we have my fellow, the Dr. Dr. Todd Lee. Welcome, Todd. And we have a special guest today, Mr. Josh Perry, the uber troll of all things muscle, gear, health, etc. How you doing, Josh?
Pretty good.
All right, man. So today,
should troll at all.
He is the uber troll.
Okay, so
troll.
I'm a troll in the 55-year-old and older version of troll, where you're not trying to get people to Minecraft themselves or think something stupid. You're trying to say something ridiculous that'll either make them laugh or just make them so mad they're going to type back at you.
Oh, so it's a hyperbole game.
Sometimes.
It is.
Yeah, well,
it is.
Here's my troll to Tanya that I did, Blunt Force Tanya. So my troll to her was basically, she would write something very smart, very intelligent, and I would just say it in simple words and be like, I don't know why you don't feel like this is the right answer. Just basically say the same thing back to her, but just pretend she said the opposite. Just to plug with her. It's just fun.
Yeah. Well, today's topic, I'm going to put it out there for the audience. Warhammer 40K. 1, 2, 3, go.
So I usually don't even call it 40K because it really spans 30K through 41K.
That's right.
There's 40,000 years of history to go over.
Yeah. Well,
there's a lot of space to fill.
Warhammer Fantasy, which I don't even know where that fits in. If Warhammer Fantasy takes place before the Younger Dryas theory, negative 12,000K is when fantasy was.
It'd have been a
Hell,
long
it could be an alternate dimension for all we know.
Connected other than chaos itself being connected, but that might just be laziness,
Could be.
You don't have to write new gods if you use the same ones. You don't have to print new models, and that was the big thing for them.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're relaunching the rules, right?
Are you saying that fantasy came out after 40K?
No, I mean, universes aren't. I don't think that universes are actually connected. I think they just use the same chaos gods because it's cheaper.
Oh, they're not connected.
I see. And
it's the same people, like Be'lakor, the chaos, whatever, he shows up in fantasy, and it's apparently the same guy in 40K. But the way they've always done stuff, like the Horus Heresy, the reason there's a Horus Heresy is because they only print one type of model. That's all they can afford. So if you just print the same model and then, these are the bad guys.
Oh,
so that's why we have a Horus Heresy. That's how old this game is. This game is ancient.
Yeah. I mean, I remember playing this when I was in high school, and I'm a 54-year-old man. By the way, I snuck 1 year under your cap there, Josh, just so you know. Yeah. But anyway, they're relaunching the rules supposedly to make the factions more even again, so that they're trying to encourage newer players to come in.
Yeah.
So they're making it where when they change the rules, you don't have to throw out your army.
I thought that they
build a new one.
10th edition already.
Yeah, the 11th edition is coming out this year.
Locust version.
Yeah. Well, there's this new one in June. That's a big launch.
Yeah, the new one is going to have all
the new one's the new Horus Heresy. It's not the new 40K, is it?
It's 11th edition.
It is 11th edition. It is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, they're announcing a bunch of.
You get into it. So since I don't own a fucking thing,
I don't.
Now is the time to get into it. Yeah. As then I'm literally watching videos on just chapters, and I want to make a fucking Minotaur squad, and I want to have a fucking Silver Eagle squad.
You want the Minotaurs?
And I want to just pick the weirdest shit. And then as far as chaos goes, I just want Death Guard, and I want Night Lords, and I want fucking Sons of Thousand Sons. I want all of the chaos. Like everything for chaos is cool, but there's only a handful of the loyalists that are cool.
Yeah, I haven't kept up. Do we still have Eldar and all that in the game?
Yeah, the
Is
Eldar
that
are still around.
I've
but
never even been interested in the Xenos. I've never looked into any of their Xenos races. I
Really?
basically am looking at the game as just like all Xenos are against the Emperor, all Xenos must be
I know
killed.
he's playing the game perfectly.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
As
that's the
if
game.
I'm gonna play the game, I can totally empathize with every Chaos Legion and every Loyalist Legion, right? Or at least most of them.
Mhm.
But I'm not gonna try to empathize with the Xenos. They have to die.
Oh, okay. I like the Eldar. I've always had a thing because of those warrior jesters, the Harlequins and all that.
Oh, I do like Chagorath
You
and
would like
Harlequins.
that makes
Those are
sense.
cool,
They're
man.
cool.
Oh, I do like those guys, just because it's Chagorath, laughing gods. How can I not love them?
Yeah,
That is
no,
cool
those are
looking.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Todd, you've got a collection, right, of figures and stuff.
I've never bought a single thing.
Oh, really? Okay, I
No.
could have sworn you
That
did.
Josh
Okay.
really got me started in the books, the Horus Heresy, and I put them away for a while. But like I reread every chapter of Flight of the Isengard, which was the 4th book,
I
4
haven't read that
times
yet.
before I went to the next chapter. Just because that shit's so deep. And I want to make sure I memorize everything because I didn't pay close enough attention in the 2nd book or whatever. So I'm confused about if it was Eidolon or Erebus was speaking on behalf of Lorgar and was able to convince Horus to do what he needed to do for shit.
I think Erebus was speaking for Erebus.
So Erebus is one of the lore keepers, right? He's not one of the sons of the Emperor's children.
No, he's not an Emperor's children. He is a Lorgar. What are the
Right,
Lord
that's what I thought.
He's the Lord
So it really had nothing to do with Lorgar. It's just Erebus. Erebus is the big fucking tempter that fucked everything up.
Yeah, Erebus is the villain of 30K and 40K.
Got it.
Yeah,
that's the
He's
continuity
literally
there.
He's literally the character. He's just like, I don't know. If there's a character you don't like, he's gonna kill him. If there's a character you do like, he's probably gonna kill him.
And so Erebus is. Which book is it? And if you know which chapter is where it actually gets good and where Erebus really starts corrupting the fuck out of them.
It would probably be on Davin. I don't know what chapter that'll be because there's so many. It's 54 books, about 1,000 pages a book.
Right. They're not. Well, it's just like, oh man, because I'm plotting through Fulgore, which is the 5th one, and I'm doing every chapter 2 or 3 times. And I'm like, there's like some questions I have that I knew if I was paying a closer attention earlier on, I would have caught it. And
they're
now
not written in chronological order. So even if you are paying attention, it
they
might
are.
Not
You're right. They're not in chronological order. They jump around quite a bit.
And locations.
Right. And so, like, if you don't have a good 4-dimensional map of everything with the planets and the chronology, then when chapters are taking place in later books that take place chronologically before certain things are happening, you have to remember this guy doesn't know this information. Like, for example, when Saul Tarvik is going to get shot down in the 3rd book, and you're looking at it from Saul's point of view, and then the 4th book, you're looking at it from the other guy's point of view who is going to shoot Saul down. And so you totally get to see the whole story playing out. And right now I'm in Fulgore, which is before this. I'm like on the 7th chapter of this book, and I feel like they haven't even gotten to Isstvan 5 yet.
Yeah, apparently, apparently, by the way, the new push from GW, and I just spent the afternoon kind of catching up because it's been a long time. And 40K, all of it is so deep. Apparently, they're restarting the Armageddon conflict thing. Is their new starter box?
Oh, that's awesome. So the Helm's Deep or whatever, Helm's Reach.
Yep. And it's the return of Commissary Yarrick. Apparently, like that storyline is apparently being
they killed Yarrick off screen and everybody's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And even Luke did a video, so now he's not
Didn't
dead.
they make him a god or some shit? Isn't he a god?
That's one of those fan theories things. Like, oh, what's his face made Gorkin Mork make him a god? I was like, no, that's just a fun theory.
Oh, it's not real. Okay, but that's cool.
Yeah, there's nothing new about Yarrick except that he left to chase after.
Because the military would have bullshit rumors.
Yes. Yeah.
So it would make sense you'd hear these rumors like, oh, Yorick's brought back as an orc god. Like, what?
Yeah.
And then you find he is back. He's not an orc god.
So is Yarrick part of the like Imperial Guard as a commissar?
Yeah, Yarrick is an Imperial Guardsman, and he's like the baddest of the asses, but he's probably like 120 years old.
Well, it's covered in the movie, what's it called? Helm's Reach, which is the Armageddon.
Hell's Reach.
Helm's Reach, and it's like the best movie. And
Where
it
is that movie?
covers
Where can I find that? I wanna
YouTube,
see
Hell's
that.
Reach. And if you want to
YouTube
listen to
Hell's
the
Reach.
books,
Got it.
Knights of Audible.
All right. I will be watching that after this.
Yeah,
at
it's
some point.
amazing. And that battle is referred to so many fucking times in the Salamanders history and the Black Templars history that there's so much shit in that movie.
Yeah.
Okay. So apparently what's happening for is it Adepticon where they showcase a lot of rules and changes and things like that?
Yeah, they
Apparently
might
the
have their
top
own stuff.
factions from what I've been reading is the Ultramarines, of course, Chaos Space Marines, and the Necrons. Those seem to be like the top factions.
Because I like
yeah.
the Chaos Marines and I like the regular Marines. I'm not into any of the I know I'll like the Dark Eldar if I get into them, but
Yeah.
Does it like bondage?
but I want to be able to like focus on Night Lords and fucking Death Guard first.
Yeah.
And then once I have like an actual playable army, now I'll worry about getting other armies.
Do you have enough people around you, Todd, to play? Like, do you have people to actually play the tabletop game? Like, a lot?
I mean, when I got my place, I made it so that my dining room is a gaming room.
Nice.
I've got a huge glass table, bookshelves lined up there for gaming stuff.
Man, the perks of being a bachelor, man. If I did that, my wife would shoot me in the head without hesitation.
I got like a
I don't
treadmill
have
out.
anyone to answer to in any aspect of life, except for the judges of the IFBB.
Yeah, I got a treadmill, 150-pound dumbbells. Nobody bothers me.
There you go. Well, I mean, you've seen the meme of like, as guys would be happy with like, what is it, like a TV, a box,
and not even a TV,
and a futon. That's all you need.
A bench to bench on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely need a little bit more than that.
Yeah,
I would need a recliner, and then I need somewhere to plug my CPAP into. So I can
Gotcha.
in the recliner, and I could use the recliner for everything, but I'd have to replace it probably every 2 years.
Man.
I'd blow springs on it and stuff and use it too much.
So apparently, let's see, more things that I'm reading. I'm just reading through like the
they did
some
a
of the
fun thing
stuff.
for April Fool's Day with 40K. They did the musical of 40K. I would totally watch that musical. It looks so good.
Oh, so that was for April Fool's specifically? I didn't know that. Okay, that's
a
pretty
musical.
Cool. Yeah, we'll drop that. Tell you what, later when I publish this on the podcast, we'll put a link to it so that people can go check it out. Yeah, for sure. So apparently the new edition introduces 70 detachments that define play style more than ever. So it's all about theory crafting right now, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, it's an imagination game. Like, talking about like different teams he wants, like the Minotaurs and all these other ones. But it's like the whole point was to have 1,000 chapters. Everybody could just have their own home brew or whatever.
Well, because the thing is, my understanding, all of the chapters act independent. They don't actually have to follow Gilliman's Codex that closely. Some are super religious, like the Dark Angel chapters, or obviously anything in league with the Inquisition, super religious. And then there's some of them that have no religious connection at all. Like the White Scars basically have shamanic totems.
The Astartes chapters are independent of the Imperium, but they kind of do work that the Imperium needs.
You know, right. They're cooperative, but there's no the fleets themselves, the chapter fleets, their cathedrals, all their shit. They basically pick their own wars. That each, they've got whatever. One captain has a company of 10. So there's only 1,000 people per chapter. There's only 10 companies. There's 10 captains. The first company is generally veterans. So like they dictate. The first captain, in theory, would dictate, okay, where we're going to attack. Right. And then they pick a planet where there's some Xenos, go in there and start killing shit. And if it's close to the warp, there may or may not be chaos there.
Killing the
Xenos, the other thing to think about is because they're not affiliated with the Imperium. If your planet's in trouble, they could just use you as bait. And then once the bad guys come and eat you, then they kill you. Then they kill the bad guys.
Right. And 2 for 1.
Which would be, a tactic one group might use, but like the Salamanders probably wouldn't do something as dishonest as that.
Probably not.
Right.
So
Carcharodons, definitely.
The other thing,
the Carcharodons, that's my favorite one. The space
shark. Yeah, they're the ones closest to the Night Lords. They're like the Night Lords that are pseudo loyal.
Yeah, no, they're loyal. They're loyal as fuck. But there's a possibility they're Night Lords or Raven Guard. They obviously unknown origins because
they look like Night Guard, man. They act like Night Guard.
Oh, yeah, Slake, with Hunger and Slake, his fucking Wolverine claws. He's already 14 feet tall and wears Terminator armor for fun.
So apparently, it looks like Chaos is basically in its main character energy era right now. Is what I'm reading from all these boards and postings and so forth.
Okay.
And apparently the orcs. There's something going on with like the orc models being like super popular, which I've always hated that faction. For the record,
Their
Yeah,
books are
orcs
amazing.
are I think the most repulsive. The
They're
Tyranids
repulsive.
also are boring, but like
Yeah.
the orcs are boring to me.
I
I
just don't
think
like the goofiness, the
yeah,
the
it breaks
cartooniness. It
breaks
doesn't gel with the gritty realism,
well,
kind of.
Yeah, I don't know how they do with the characters, but like in those books, they eat people alive, like living people. Just, you know what I mean? Like that's not a.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about just the aesthetics.
Oh
Todd
yeah, it's
knows.
definitely
Todd
not.
knows that I'm big
Yeah.
into aesthetics,
the
like in
orcs are
anything.
comic relief, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And I
basically.
think that destroys the gritty realism of the setting.
Well, it changes the whole atmosphere, right? Because it
Mhm.
introduces that whole like humorous, haha, look at us chopping heads off and whatever.
yeah, but not always.
Kind
I
of
mean,
like
obviously, like
slapstick.
Hell's Reach is all about guys
Yeah,
getting.
yeah. It's
So they
like
can make great orcs, and like what happened was they did this one, the Beast, right after the siege of after the whatever the 30K big horse heresy, and it was
Mhm.
just terrible and stupid, and it's just they kind of made the orcs a joke after that.
Yeah. Well, apparently they're having a moment now. Like sales seem to be very up on the orcs, right below the Space Marines in popularity, which is
But there's
crazy.
not like it's pretty much a Space Marines game unless you really want to like something else.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
they'll have cool
understood.
stuff come
Bring
out,
the
but then nothing
Xenos.
will happen. Like
Yeah.
the Necron tier got their king back, the Silent King, who's been gone for thousands of 50 million years, and he's done nothing.
Well, the other thing that doesn't make sense is like it would make more interesting sense if the Xenoses had alliances with each other and or certain loyalist chapters and or certain chaos factions and or certain chaos gods.
That would
So
be
like
interesting.
if you had, for instance, the Eldar can work well with the children of the Emperor or whatever, Emperor's children.
Well, the
Yeah.
Eldar wouldn't work for chaos stuff because they hate chaos. That's like
Right,
really
but my point is that they could work with the Emperor's children before the fall. They wouldn't be
Right,
able to work with them after the fall,
Right.
but they could work with maybe this group, this chapter. Whereas anyone who's descended from the Dark Angels would never work with any Xenos.
Well, the thing
Well,
is, those guys are all long-term enemies. Like the Eldar have always hated the Necrons and vice versa. And the orcs, what used to be the Quarks, also hated the Necrons and vice versa. So these guys have been fighting for hundreds of millions of years since the beginning of the galaxy.
right,
And then Tyranids come out of nowhere.
right. And so it would just make it more interesting if, like, if you're playing the Death Guard, they might actually work with the Tyranids, because their physiology doesn't get infected by the plagues, and Nurgle has corrupted one of their hive masters.
Right.
And like that could be a plot that would actually be cool. So you could actually have a Tyranid Death Guard army, or like there's the Harlequins might work with the Raven Guard in
Yeah.
certain circumstances if it's finding a specific enemy that they hate and both of them hate that
Yeah,
thing.
absolutely.
Equivalently. That type of shit would make the other races interesting, and it would make them more of a polydimensional political scape game.
Yeah, I agree. It could bring a lot of, if you're one of those people, and I don't know if you guys enjoy that, but I've always liked having a meta game that's story driven, and then the battles that you play are just the battles that come out of it, right? And
That's
way more
exactly
fun.
what you would like, then, yeah.
Yeah.
Then in that case, I feel like there needs to be a broader parent role-playing game where you're playing theoretically as a captain.
Yeah.
And
No,
you
that would be
play
cool.
one of the
Yeah.
game captains,
Yeah.
and you now have a unit of 100 strong,
hmm
and that's what you can buy in a field.
Right. Right.
And you can have naval battles with your actual capital ship.
That would be fucking great. That'd be
And then
fun.
if you get killed, you have to sell your miniatures and use the money to buy a new character and new army. Like you don't
That's
get
kind of
to
hardcore, bro.
you don't
Did you watch the Knights of the Seven Kingdoms? This sounds like some.
well, no, but like for real, like you don't want to just be emotionally attached to one group, get killed, and play them over and over again, because you'll
I've done
never
that.
feel any loss.
I've done that
But
for the
if you
longest
actually
time.
have to start over with a whole new army every
Yeah,
time you die,
that's another
you'll be
$2
way
grand.
more tactical about how you deploy shit.
Yeah, that's
So
fair.
back in the day, and I'm talking back in the day when I was in college. So this is way back in the day. I had an Imperial Guards list because I love the commissars. I just love the look. I love painting those miniatures. They were fucking great. But I'd get my ass kicked all the fucking time because I would have like 10 million of these guys, you know. But they're useless, or not useless, but you know, it's cannon fodder. They're supposed to be cannon fodder.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was frustrating. Even though, man, my army looked wicked good. It looked super good from a painting perspective and terrain and all that. And that is one thing I do miss about not playing it anymore. We do have a really big local scene here, though. Like the stores here, like the gaming stores, they're huge, and you can go play wherever, whenever. You can drop in, and they have all the terrain models ready to go for you to use on their tables. You know, it's what I wish I had back when I was in college, where we had to, like, you know, find a cafe and, like, you know, come in a group and basically like invade it in order to play, you know, like as a larger group. Or we would get like somebody from a church to let us use the meeting rooms of the church for a day, you know, just to set up our stuff. And you know, I don't know about now, but back then a game could last so long that you would want to have a place where you can leave your miniatures and come back the next day to continue or finish that game. So that was impossible to do back then, like impossible, unless it was like at a friend's house, you know. Ruined many a pool table doing that too, like because we would use the felt and the space. You know, it was a good space. It was a good time. So apparently the I guess the Games Workshop thing now is going to be like bringing back iconic characters, I guess, and kind of reviving storylines. That seems to be the play. You know?
They seem to bring a Primarch back every 4 to 5 years. The one coming back now is Proto Rabo, and he'll be in the 30K and 40K, because in 30K he's got to do the Iron Cage, which is where he, well, basically kills all of the Imperial Fists. And then in 40K he's going to start some sort of weird spiral ring of planetary ownership and just basically create his own empire. But since he's a demon of chaos, he can't leave the warp until...
Right. That's a good point. All right. So what else we got on deck, guys? Anything else?
So
40K?
Let's see. All right. So let's say I want to start buying miniatures. I don't have time to paint them. Is there a way that you can just buy painted miniatures? Like, do people just sell them?
I don't know. Probably.
I would imagine you could.
Anything you want to buy.
Industry at this point. There must be professional painters.
Oh,
yeah, and for sure, by the way, I am sure that there have to be groups of people like getting out of the game where you can buy like their whole already painted set. That would be the way to go.
Look on eBay or something for armies and just buying entire armies at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's usually starter kits and stuff at Games Workshop.
I think that it's basically the barrier for entry is money. Yeah. But then when people have to liquidate their whole armies, they're probably broke. So you're getting the army for 50 cents on the dollar already paid up.
I was saying the army is about $2,000.
Yeah. And by the way, they're trying to, that's one of the things that they've stated publicly that they want to fix with this 11th edition, is to make sure that there's not the power creep, to have it kind of balance out so that you don't have to sell, you know, like if you want to be competitive, for those who want to be competitive, you don't have to every fucking, you know, few months, like get rid of an entire collection and get another one or whatever.
We balance the game.
Yeah. I mean, there's always going to be power creep and imbalances, though. You know, that always happens.
Yeah, it's a dice game, so like you get luck dices and be good to go, man. That's cool.
Yeah, and things, you know, people start figuring out like these lists, you know, numerically, statistically tend to have an advantage over these other lists, and then that kind of stifles creativity in that game until the next rules change or whatever, you know. Which
for 40K, I don't really do the games. I'm as cool as you guys play games, but I was always like a Mario Kart person. A lot of fist fights doing that. But for 40K, I listen to the music. It's like Automatic Singer, Endless Taverns, all these AI version singers, and then I do a lot of basically off of let's see, Knights of Audible does all of the Horus Heresy books, basically just audio versions. That's why I can't tell you what chapter of anything.
Oh wait, yeah, I just get them on Audible.
Yeah, you can get them on Audible too, for sure.
Is that what you guys do? You listen to them then?
Yeah, because I have hours I can listen to things, and sometimes I just can't. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always physically doing something, so I
Mhm.
can listen to a book constantly. So I just listen to the same chapter, and like before I go to bed, I'll put it on, wake up in the middle of the night, and just restart the chapter I was on. Go,
Sure.
go up to pee, restart the chapter I was on. So subconscious
Nice.
being programmed with all of, yeah,
Yeah.
No,
If anybody
that
wants a
absolutely works.
cheap, easy intro into this stories, it's Wrath of Karn. It's on YouTube. It's about 30 minutes. It's really fun.
Okay. Okay, we'll check that out. And by the way, apparently their entry level offering for 11th is going to be Armageddon centric again.
Yeah.
That seems to be
Makes sense.
that's going to be the you know,
Yeah,
like, it's that.
Yard 1v1 to Troll cut off his arm and then started wearing the arm. So he's got like this big mechanical arm. He's got one laser eye just to fuck with orcs.
I love that. That's character, baby. That's spicy character development right there. So, man, let's see, what else do I have? I was like looking at all the. So yeah, apparently like the idea is for now on to remove the barrier of entry, lower the price point so people can get into the game, and give people more options that are still competitive. You know, that if you want to get into the more competitive, you know, tournament stuff and all that, like I guess Adepticon does, or any of those big conventions, you know, you can bring something fielded and have a chance to win, you know, that you're not like outclassed already because of what you've chosen.
Wasn't like Magic the Gathering notorious for that, having like rare cards?
Absolutely.
Fucked without them.
Absolutely. Same with I played for a long time the X-Wing game, the X-Wing miniatures game, which was basically like dogfighting in space. And every time they had they eventually went to a points system in order to try and adjust it, and they did it with an app, so that way they could adjust points on the fly, and they would see, like, you know, in tournaments, like, oh shit, this character or this ship is or this pilot is way OP, so let's add more price to it, and it would adjust it, right? And they would change the meta of the game, you know, every couple of weeks, which was kind of cool, because then no one was favored that way. And they did a good job of it. Unfortunately, they lost the license, the Star Wars license. So,
well, it's not worth anything now.
Yeah, after the shit. And what's gonna happen? Is it just gonna die? Disney's surely gonna let it die rather than sell it, or rather than have some quality.
They'll shelf it for 5 or 10 years,
and then
they'll
redo it.
just relaunch it again for the next generation.
Like you're doing with the MCU. There's like, look, we're just gonna bring back the people you love, and maybe you watch them again, and we go back to making billions of dollars every movie.
Yeah, I mean, well, I
mean, what would I do with Star Wars? Shelf it. I mean, it's been shit on enough.
Yeah, they can shelve it for 5 years and come out with this episodes 10, 11, 12.
Because I haven't found anything good.
Well, they were trying. I know that there was that talk of the Rey movie, but now with Kathleen Kennedy gone, who knows where that's gonna go?
I mean,
and good
they
riddance,
announced about 20 movies and do none of them.
Yeah, well, Starfighter's still in production, which I actually have good hopes for. So it's got Ryan Gosling, I think, in it. So that's already, you know, and it's
yeah, but it's the same writers. They suck at writing.
Oh, is it the same writers? Oh no, I didn't know that.
Okay. I mean, it's not gonna be anybody different.
Yeah,
you know
they should get Gareth Edwards to do another Star Wars movie. I mean, Rogue One was fucking incredible. Is it Gareth Edwards, the director, writer for?
They should just give it back to George Lucas.
Well, he's
so old now, though.
He's literally fading from his history of strokes, I believe.
Oh, he's
I didn't know that.
I've seen him publicly a few times since he's sold the thing, and he looks worse and worse. He's like, I would say he doesn't have long.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate.
I mean, strokes, 6 years to 11 years after you have a really bad one, and I think he had a really bad one.
Well, I mean, honestly, like any creative IP like that, what you need is creators and producers who actually love the source material. And I feel like a lot of the people that they hire now are hired just for DEI purposes.
Well, the other thing is, are they hiring people that are good at writing? Because that's what a lot of people are saying. People who've never written anything are now.
Speaking of good at writing, and something very bad is going to happen on Netflix. What's a shockingly good. It's written for, it's like all female writers, female creator, female director. So it does not sound like it would be good. It was like a Jordan Peele horror movie, only instead of it being from a perspective of a black person, it's from a perspective of a woman. And
What was
it's
this?
really good. The writing's so good, it was like Diablo Cody writing.
Okay, what was the name of this?
It's called Something Very Bad Is Gonna Happen.
Okay, so I've seen the previews. It looks good. Yeah.
It is a terrible name for it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that looks
good.
good.
I'm sure women love it too, though. I mean, that's all I ever see them watching murder stuff and this, that, and the other. That's cool.
It's definitely written for women by women, but it was still good. That's the difference. Usually when it's written by women, like the Barbie movie, it really wasn't that good. Ryan Gosling,
it's very niche, like a very small audience targeted there.
I don't know if I saw it.
Yeah, so, watch the Barbie movie, and it's surprisingly good, but only because Ryan Gosling carries the whole movie.
He does. He really does. That's why I found it
why it's so funny. They made a movie about how women are better than men, shitting on men, and the only person who won anything was the only man in the movie.
And he steals the show.
Literally doing everything. Oh yeah, wasn't he like homeless? He like made him sleep on the beach or some shit. Like what the hell was that?
And they treated men like shit. It was like Hulk, but for 2 hours.
Yeah, man.
It was a 2-hour episode of She-Hulk.
Oh, She-Hulk was so bad. That was so bad. Man, getting preached at all the time. So it was like that whole thing was like
the best part is they announced it was bad on purpose. It's like, no, it wasn't bad on purpose. You thought people were gonna love this shit.
They thought they were being clever. Is what they thought, that this was going to be like sassy and clever,
but
and it
was stupid because the people didn't read She-Hulk comics. You
right,
can't have writers for something if they're not fans.
You need to have fans that have an emotional investment so that they give you the best, most creative.
I just want a bunch of creative people in the room to come up with some shit. And then I want the people that are like the big fans to be like the lore masters and tell them, okay, this part wouldn't exactly work because of this. And then they have to come up with a new answer. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, lore masters.
Like whatever they do in the Game of Thrones show.
Like,
Is like that what they have? Like a lore master?
Usually. Like they have all kinds of crap.
Okay. I know in Star Wars they had, is it Fione?
Dave Filoni or some crap.
Dave Filoni. I think he was like the lore master in Star Wars.
Yeah, he sucks at lore.
Well, I think he just got outvoted all the time, is what I gather.
Even if he gets voted in, his writing is shit. His directing is shit.
Yeah. He's done a couple of things that are, the Clone Wars cartoons were not terrible.
Warhammer for a little bit longer.
Sorry. No, let's go back to Warhammer.
Conversation.
Yeah. We just sidetracked completely. Go for it, Todd.
What's your favorite chapters, Josh? Okay.
In 40K for sure. And then probably Blood Angels of 40K because they have the old man.
Not one of the branches like Angel Sanguine or Flesh Terrors.
Flesh Terrors are probably the coolest, but I would like to see the Flesh Terrors and the Carcharodons hang out. Fucking awesome.
This is the darkest of all the good guys. Good guys.
Yeah, they're the good guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love them because, like, they're Flesh Terrors. They're like, they have the Black Death, the Black Rage people, and they just kind of drop them out on people. Like, fuck off, people. And they're just all falling apart.
Got the most extreme Red Thirst and the most extreme Black Death or whatever.
Black Rage.
Or like Black Rage. But, like, why? Like, that's what I don't understand. I get that it's a damaged gene seed. But, like, these things actually have the Red Thirst and the Black.
Yeah, the Black Rage. Well, obviously, Sanguinius didn't have the Black Rage.
Yeah, it couldn't potentially have it. It's existential.
But no, yeah, he had the Red Thirst. They actually ate a couple Space Wolves, and that's why the Flesh Terrors Legion commander left because he killed some Space Marines, and this is back before they were killing Space Marines. So he's like, I'm a shameful monster. And I think he had 2 chainsaw fists, 2 chainsaw power fists. He was amazing.
For me, I'm thinking if I were to jump in now and remember I have a 20-year gap in not playing, which is weird. Now that I've been reading about all that's happened and I'm going to start like diving deep, there's so much to catch up on. But I'm going to say like Chaos Marines would probably be like if I had to.
There's 8.
But what?
Yeah, I guess Marines.
I mean, I don't know what fashion I would.
Like their entire legions.
I mean,
the Black Legion is Chaos Undivided. The Iron Warriors are probably Chaos Undivided, so you can be Chaos Undivided.
Well, same with the Night Lords are Chaos Undivided.
Yeah, I mean, and then the whole thing is like demons can choose.
And then Orgar's group is Chaos Undivided too.
Right.
The only ones that are specified are the Death Guard are associated with Nurgle, The Emperor's children are associated with Slanesh. The world leaders are associated with Khorne, and then the 1,000 Sons are with Siege.
Yeah.
And then everyone else, the Lorgar, they're all Diabolists. They summon demons and make pacts. They're not just out to serve. The Black Legion and the Night Lords and the Iron, whatever, the 4th house, they don't give a fuck. They just are stuck. They can't be the loyal, and they're not really aligned with any chaos, but individuals can.
So I guess, like reading through this, if I had to pick an actual, I guess, Space Marine group, I guess, or whatever, the Emperor's Children catches my eye a lot.
Right.
Because I see and for some reason they remind me of the Harlequin Elder too.
It's because you like Toreadors.
Yeah.
The Emperor's Children and Toreadors. That's it.
It's always,
but once the Chaos Emperor's Children are Xantosa Shemisi, embraced by Toreador and Tribute.
There we go. Fun. So yeah, no, that makes sense. And then of course I already said it that the Eldar is the other one, and Imperial Guard. Just because again,
I mean, the Eldar brought back Gilliman.
Yeah, I mean, the Eldar also, they have that angle. Is it Slanesh that they're kind of like
they created Slanesh, but they don't like Slanesh.
They fucked and ordered Slanesh into existence.
Yeah, which is,
and she blew up, and
interesting.
that created the what is it? It used to be the Eye of Terror. Her explosion and birth created the Eye of Terror, which is where all of the Chaos people ran to after the 30K Horus Heresy, and then eventually rebuilt.
When was Slanesh's creation, though? I assumed it was prior to like 0K. I think it was ancient history.
She officially always existed.
Right.
Yeah, let me check what it says.
There's a whole lot of stuff about it. But basically with 40K, if it doesn't make sense, but it was warped.
But it does. Okay, so I think what you're saying is the 4th dimension is irrelevant because they exist in the 4th dimension at all times. So once she was created, she theoretically always existed.
Right, like the future could come first, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So apparently Slanesh was created by the Eldar as a result of when they had everything, when they were the
blood
top
orgies,
dogs,
yes.
Right?
Yeah,
and then they got decadent, and that then led to
because
Slanesh,
the Eldar couldn't die; they would just be put back into soul stones and then get the bodies back.
Right.
So they can just do whatever. Yeah. And the true Kari are just the Eldar that kept doing that, but don't want to have anything to do with warp powers. I'm like, no. And they're kind of
anyway.
So, Josh, I actually want to talk to you about something esoteric.
Sure.
All right. So the warp is the source of all magic. The chaos is, so therefore the shape
faith is the source of all magic.
Faith is the source.
Faith is the source of all magic.
So what is a psyker then?
What?
So isn't a psyker someone who can use magic, but they're just looked at through the lens of a psionicist?
A psyker generally gathers his powers from the warp, pulling it from another dimension as well. But what we've learned in the 42K is what we're at now. Do you remember the fall of Cadia and there are those black obelisks and things like that basically negate the warp, and we're basically trying to keep the universe from splitting in half. So anyway, story moves forward. We've put those up somewhere to basically take away the rip in the universe. And the only thing that seems to work is the sororitas. Their beliefs.
They get their magic from belief.
And that's the biggest joke about 40K. The Emperor spent all of 30K killing all of these religions and stuff, and it turns out the most powerful force in his universe is faith.
Is him. That he is actually the source of, because like in D&D, the way that they get spells, divine casters, is their wisdom is basically their ability to be open to that God giving them his power. Right. So the sisters, sororitas or whatever, the silent sisters, they get their power directly from the Emperor. So they're almost like battle clerics in D&D.
I suppose.
Which would be outside of how everything else seems to function, which is everything else seems to function as psionics. But because it's a collective subjective version of reality and imagination, the warp contains all of the nightmares and dreams of all living beings. And then the more people that have a consensus about this thing, the more powerful that thing is, which is what differentiates an illusion from a full-blown chaos god, that billions of people believe in it, so it becomes a god. So
the Emperor Starchild is now out there being a god for him.
Right. So all the people that believe the emperor is a god might be what made him a god. He might have been a perpetual before, but their faith in him allows him to then turn around and give power to others.
Yeah.
Which
And
is
a different kind of god, not like a chaos god, an actual god for this universe.
Right. Because
Like
D&D,
the star god guys, the
right.
Catanas.
Because the difference in D&D is between a warlock and an evil priest. As an evil priest prays to a god, and the god grants him magic.
Right.
That's the only reason why the god has that power is because things believe in him. The warlock doesn't need to believe in the demon. He just has to make a contract, and that demon gives him power. So whereas the Lorgar approach, the book approach, is they're using books to summon chaos gods or demons and make pacts with them, and they're bestowing some of their power that they have, but it's different from faith. And then there's also Jagatai Khan's group that has these shamanic totem stuff that doesn't seem to fit into this paradigm at all.
Yeah. And the Space Wolves have their whatever lightning guys.
Right. So those sound like a shamanic totem that grants you shit, like you're a barbarian, not like you're actually getting spellcasting ability.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So it seems like the Space Wolves and the White Scars have barbarian-based powers from totems that are still warp related. Then the Lorgar are basically your classic Diabolists that summon demons and make pacts with demons.
Right.
Whereas the sisters have magical power granted to them from a divine being because of their belief in that being.
Yeah. Well, they just
So
have
I
that
guess
power.
the thing is if the emperor is what's keeping the warp open so that people can use it, and he's able to grant these powers, then in what way is he no longer, how is he not one of the chaos gods then?
Oh, okay. So the emperor, the body on the throne. Oh, you haven't read The End of the Death. Okay. So in The End of the Death, the emperor sends out all of his kindness and compassion so he can kill his son Horus. And that now exists in the warp. And if you smash to 40K, he burns Nurgle's garden with the Star Child.
Okay, so in other words, his astral form is kind of like a Ka spirit from Egyptian mythology. It's a guardian spirit that's everything good. He ejected his conscience from his body so he could be evil enough to kill his son. Now his body may be a dead body, but he still has the silver cord from astral projection attaching his psyche to it. His psyche can't re-inhabit his body, but his psyche is now as powerful as a fucking chaos god. But unlike a chaos god that's evil, the emperor is actually a good guy. So we have one good god and four chaos gods.
Well, to be fair, he's a bad guy too, but he's a less bad guy. You know what I mean?
So he's a
he's human. He really does make mistakes.
Pragmatic.
That's his kind of his thing. It's like,
so he's lawful evil, and the rest of them are four chaotic evil guys.
Yeah,
I wonder if he's lawful good though.
I thought you said he was.
Well, he's not like good in the benevolence father's sense. It's more like he's like the president has to kill a bunch of people. You know what I mean?
That's still lawful evil.
Oh, okay. Well, fair.
Lawful neutral at best,
and be a great one.
Yeah,
that if you're going to be in shark shit, you got to kill some people. And
but now that he's a god, none of the rules apply, do they?
Huh?
When he's a god, do any of the rules really apply?
But that's my point: is if you don't think the rules apply to you, you're not good. If you're above morality, then that's an evil thing to think. That's how evil people think. Like, these people don't matter. They're not as rich as me. Or these people don't matter. They're not as smart as me. Or these people don't matter. They don't believe the same God I do. And they rationalize wiping people out.
So wouldn't that, what I'm hearing, I keep thinking lawful neutral is what I keep thinking in my head. Because it's not altruistic, but it's not outright evil either. You know?
If it's imposing order for what's the good of the realm.
Right. Which is what I think it is, right?
Sounds lawful neutral, and people would be convinced of that.
Well, the only
but assuming your opinion is always what's good for the realm, that's a lawful evil way of thinking.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's got the gift of foresight.
Which he knows exactly which is the least evil path.
Yeah.
But you're still evil, because you're still choosing to do it's like the trolley thing.
Yeah.
Did you kill 6 people or did you kill 1?
It's like, well, it's better to kill just
one,
but
to pull the lever, because if they don't pull the lever, they don't kill anyone. I'm like, but if you don't kill the lever, you're passively allowing 6 people to die.
Right.
If you pull the lever, you're killing 1 but saving 6.
Well, it depends on who's on the 6 and who's the 1, right?
Right, but assuming you don't know who they are and that they're of
Yeah,
equal value, assume the equal value.
Assuming they have
Well, that's what
equal
I'm saying.
value.
Like people value people different ways. Like if you tell me it's one infant or 6 old people,
Right, but
why
that's what
6 old people?
for the purpose of the experiment, you're not supposed to have the information.
Okay.
So the point is, to me, the obvious choice is you kill 1, not 6.
Right.
Whereas to someone else, the obvious choice is I don't want to kill anyone, so I'm not pulling the lever. So
No, you're not guilty.
they literally think they're the good guy. They think they're good because they stepped aside and had nothing to do with it. Whereas someone like me says, I have the power to make change.
I can save 5 lives.
Yeah.
It's my responsibility to do the right thing because I can. And if I don't do the right thing, it's the wrong thing.
Yeah, and in this case, the needs of the few, or what, you know,
needs of the many over the needs of the few.
So in this example, though, the
Mhm.
sociologist would say the person who doesn't pull the lever is good. They're a coward, but they're good. And the person that pulled the lever is the lawful evil one.
Yeah. Yeah, because not pulling the lever is never penalized, right? In the thought exercise. Like you can make that choice if you want of like, I ain't touching it.
It's like my mom used to tell me when I was a little kid is you never get in trouble for not helping people.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
keep your mouth shut and keep going. Don't help anyone.
I mean, Todd, you and I have talked about this. Actually, Josh and I may have touched on this, but if nothing else, be a person of service. Be a person. If you do nothing else in your life, just do things to help other people. To me, that's like my driving principle.
I mean,
like when I make decisions.
Right? What else do we do?
But that's just
funny is Josh talks an evil game, but he's a good guy.
He is. He absolutely is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Agreed. And I think a lot of the people that think that you're like too rough or too mean, Todd, is they don't understand your context. Like they just see one aspect on screen, you know, which is a very hard way to judge somebody as a whole.
Well,
because
they
you just show one
want a
aspect.
doctor to behave a certain way, and I don't behave the way they think a doctor should behave. So that makes me not a doctor, and so they're mad.
Yeah. So
They
my
want
best
to
friend from high
behave
school
the
is
way
a surgeon also. So yeah, I understand. And now he acts in very much what you'd expect a doctor to act. He's not
I was
unorthodox
gonna say
like you.
the coolest doctors I mean are surgeons. Like my favorite surgeon was I'm not gonna say his name on the thing, but yeah, he was like an MMA fighter. He didn't ever want to go what you call it. I tried to get him to go pig hunting in Texas with machine guns. He's like, no, man, I was in the military. I blew up stuff with machines. I'm like, oh, come on. He's like, no, man, trust me, it's way better with blow ups. Like, okay.
Yeah, total aside, I remember like 10 years ago, I got invited. I didn't know this is a thing. To my friends yearly, he goes to, I think it was Oklahoma, to hunt prairie dogs with a 223 rifle at 300 yards, which makes it really hard at 200, 300 yards. But you know how they pop out of the holes? And, you know, people will actually pay hunters to go and do that. Well, yeah, but with an AR.
I know.
So anyway, I mean, it's pest control. You're helping the person manage their land.
Well, that's what the helicopter shooting at the pigs is. Hogs are bad for the environment.
Yeah,
$25,000 people.
So going back to the 40K conversation, would you ever consider? I don't know if you guys are into that. Every once in a while, I'll go to Dragon Con and do the costume thing. Would you ever consider like doing something like that, like building a set of armor?
Absolutely.
You would? That seems like a lot of fucking work, bro.
Space Marine, I mean, it would be pretty comical if I went because
that's why you should do it.
Are supposed to be 8 feet tall, but
then you say, then what you do is you're the scale model.
You're the miniature of the Space Marine. I like that. Actually, pretty good.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. And you're not that short, Todd. I've seen you live now.
He's pretty
you're
short.
Not that short. I've seen you. You know, and of course I'm not super tall either.
I'm not 8 feet tall, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I
You're not 14 to 9.5 feet tall. No.
Yeah.
I'm not either though.
Those are Primarchs, yeah. I mean, I would never dream of being I mean, what Primarch would you go as? Like shit, that would be an interesting one.
Yeah, Perturabo. He's got the metal dreads. That's fucking awesome.
Perturabo, yeah.
Metal dreads.
We might get to see him.
Angron has the same thing.
Yeah, Angron died like a bitch to Sanguinius. Started crying and shit. What a bitch.
I don't know. I could go as Abaddon. Abaddon's cool as fuck.
I don't like his top knot.
I don't like his top knot either, but I can pull that off.
He's always just grab that shit and cut it off. But yeah, he's He's just one of those characters. It's like, why is he even still in this? I mean, get rid of him. Put somebody new
Or
out.
I mean, Lehman Russ would be too on the nose. I guess. I don't know. I'll have to think of it.
I would say like
would be a good
which
one.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I would pull up the ones you look like, right, and just see which one you look like. You think because you can be anybody.
yeah. And besides, if you're doing like the whole cosplay thing, I'm assuming you probably have the helmet. So
Yeah, I mean, you just be yourself.
I wouldn't wear that. I mean,
What
hot in there?
What color? Yeah, you can't wear the
Hot as
helmet,
fuck,
man. That's the
I'll
whole
bet.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
You
helmet
just have the helmet. Yeah,
dude. It's the Primarchs are the ones that look cool anyway.
Mhm.
The normal Space Marines can look cool, but without a helmet, it's only the Primarchs that look cool.
Oh, you would be an Emperor's Children for sure. That's like the most beautiful one, right?
Oh, you're so sweet.
Yeah.
You mean Fulgrim after I was
Right after you lose, you lose all your shit. Hey, look, he looked great. He had like 6 chest pecs. I mean, we're good to go.
Dude, fucking yeah, Fulgrim was amazing because he is so much so the Xantosa Shemisi that it's just to take a Toreador with perfectionism, narcissism, and then slap vicissitude into the mix.
I'll play that.
Yeah.
that sounds fun as hell.
Emperor Children post-fall is totally what a Toreador antitribu Xantosa breeding stock would make.
Absolutely. So just looking at some of the pictures of the art and the styles, there's this guy, I don't know him, Corvus Corax from the Raven Guard. That's a cool model. That's a cool model for sure.
Yeah, he becomes at the end of the 30K. He's basically shows up as a warp demon, sort of, and just basically chases Wargar around because they had all these weird, terrible endings for the Primarchs at the end of the series. Because most of them just kind of vanished.
I mean, he's cool as fuck. He's the spy master. And he's like a ranger that has obfuscate and obteneration. It's hilarious.
That's a powerful combo.
Yeah,
for sure.
just like how he's also got the same nightmare power. So like it's really Conrad Kurz and that Raven Guard guy, they have like Corax, they have almost the same discipline set. They both have shadow stepping ability. They all basically obteneration. They both have obfuscate. They both have nightmare. It's that Conrad Kurz can see the future. She knows who's going to be a murderer and kills them before they commit the crime.
Oh, no. He kills everyone that commits a crime. Like, he killed a lady committing suicide. You're trying to commit suicide here? No.
Can't do that.
I'm going to pull your skin.
I'll kill you.
Yeah, he's one of the coolest villains because he doesn't know he's the villain. And he's like,
those are the best. Those are the best.
And it doesn't realize he's the villain. And as soon as he figures out he's the villain too, he needs to die. He allows the assassin to kill him that he saw the future was going to kill him.
That's pretty cool.
It's just the coolest story for this character.
He's definitely the most goth Cassandra syndrome character ever.
He's like a lawful evil character that doesn't know he's lawful evil until he realizes he's lawful evil, but he's lawful enough to have himself killed.
Right.
Yes.
Which is crazy.
Well, like I said, they had a lot of stupid endings for the Primarchs. Like 2 were just fighting in the warp, 7 or 8 of them just vanished. No one knows. I'm like, bro, it's a fucking Primarch. You might want to find them. But then there's the other thing where the people were taking over, and when the Primarchs leave, the people running the Imperium are like, oh, whoopsie, sorry, we'll see you later, space Jesus thing.
Dude, it's just the fucking fact that there's that so many chapters and they have no authority. They can just do whatever they want. So it's like, oh my God, because I could see Zeech tricking Khorne into deploying his Chaos Marines and then fight Nurgle's Space Marines. You could have a World Eater versus what do you call it? A Death Guard war. And then at the end, the fucking 7,000 Suns show up and kill everyone. Like there's so much you could do with this game beyond just the battles themselves.
Yeah, the stories are endless, and that's the whole point. Have endless stories, and you have endless locations.
Have they ever released a role-playing version? I know in fantasy they did, and it was actually a really good game back 20 years ago.
I was designing, basically part of the research I'm doing is so I can take my new and improved World of Darkness system and then apply it to the Warhammer setting and start my own official Warhammer game that is a Warhammer 40K role-playing game. And that you can still use the miniatures for waging real battles, and you switch over to the tabletop miniature game for that. But most of the game would be handled like a normal vampire game where you're doing politics and you've got to manipulate this captain into being in this certain location. So you can manipulate this battery to fire a friendly fire and kill the captain, making room for you to climb up the ranks, etc. Like just like a vampire game would be set up. So you don't have to worry about rolling dice to win. You just manipulate people into killing each other so you don't have to.
Let's see if I can show you guys like what I'm looking at, because I think I found the costume. Let's see. Let me show you.
Can you share your screen?
All right, here we go. That dude right there, Solitaire.
What is that?
He's a Harlequin.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he's an Eldar, but he's not a dark Eldar. He's worships the laughing god of the Eldar.
Yeah, Chegaroth is actually responsible for defeating Celeste eventually. Apparently, that's his role. He's like, oh fuck.
So so this is what that guy does. That is cool as fuck.
And they're
bro.
known for speed.
Yeah, it's supposed to be speed, stealthy. Like this is celerity, obtenebration, probably. What else? Celerity, obtenebration.
Usually obfuscate.
Yeah, I guess obfuscate so you can sneak up even better. So, yeah.
I don't see any darkness powers.
No, no. Apparently, that's not his gig.
Oh, you know what? Harlequin's doing the blood games would be awesome. Do you guys know what the blood games are?
No.
We're like, blood games are basically the custodians try to kill the emperor.
Oh wow, I've never heard of that.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Alfarius started it because basically he showed up around 30K and was at his first.
Alfarius Manus.
No, Alfarius.
Alfarius. Okay.
Yeah, see, Alfarius allegedly, apparently,
20th Legion.
with the emperor from the very beginning. And one of the first things he did was try to kill the emperor, just as a show the custodians that their defenses were shit because they weren't thinking about how to kill the emperor.
Mm-hmm.
So he basically dodged the spear from Valdor and fired at the ship that the emperor was on, and the ship blows up. But the emperor's fine. But they created something called the blood games. So the blood games are basically just custodians trying to kill. Well, they'll kill custodians and get to the emperor, and if they get there, they win. So I think the Harlequins would be a great side story to mix together, where the Harlequins are trying to kill the emperor.
Yeah. Well, but the Harlequins are really like, they're highly individualized. They're, for whatever reason, keepers of Eldar lore. I don't know that. I didn't know that was one of their functions.
It was the weird thing when Slaanesh came. She stole all of their Eldar gods, and then eventually I think Nurgle stole back a few, like Isha, because she's like a healing god.
Mm-hmm.
But Chegaroth is basically the only real Eldar god that has any power left, and he's like, well, we'll see what happens, because he's basically got these like powers.
Just sitting this one out.
Yeah.
Well, he's chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
Okay, I like neutral for sure. But I do love that character.
Nurgle stole the healing god back from Slaanesh. Did Nurgle steal the healing god so that no one can contradict what he does?
Well, that depends.
Does he actually want to corrupt her and make her a plague monster himself?
Or does he want to see what her magic can do to his powers and then make his powers better?
I guess so. I guess
or
you could
maybe he just wants a girlfriend.
Well, that would be a good mix, though, if you're the god of death and your girlfriend's the goddess of life. The thing is, he's really gross, though. Like, he went the wrong way with death. Going disease and decay was a gross way to go with death. There's a million cooler ways to go with death than disease and decay.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, he made it the hardest.
There's a lot of good songs with Isha and Nurgle too. Like Automatic Singer has a good one for Nurgle, and Endless Taverns has a really good one too. And it's more of like a love song. But the Automatic Singer does mostly metal shit. That's why I watch him.
Okay, that's funny. Yeah.
So, yes. I think the more and more I look at it, like I would have to, if I got back into this, I'll go with the Eldar.
Like I said, you don't have to play. You can just watch the stuff and we can just talk about it. Because hell, I can talk about 40K all day.
Oh yeah, for sure. I unfortunately don't have the time nowadays
I know,
like, honestly, if I did one game, the last game that I had fun with my friends was a Star Wars Edge of the Empire role-playing game campaign, and that was fun. And I ran that one. I was the GM for that. Wrote the storyline and everything. It was just bunch of smugglers, bro.
Okay, if you introduce one Jedi, it ruins it. You pretty much have to play in Star Wars with no Jedi. Otherwise,
and that's kind of where we kept it. There were no Jedi. Eventually, one of the characters, one of the players really wanted to try his hand at doing something crazy and like overpowered, and I just let it slide just to see how it would go. And he wanted to play one of the Emperor's guard or hand. Character, like we created the
Imperial Royal Guard, like after he's just a retired Imperial Royal Guard.
So just like the emperor has an emperor's hand, it would be something along those lines. He wanted
You
to be
mean the
like
dudes
a
in red, the Imperial Royal Guard?
no, not those guys. Like I guess like Vader was kind
Oh,
of
you
like
just mean the right hand of the Emperor?
correct,
Okay, gotcha.
correct. Like
Okay,
one of those guys that's like
Yeah.
reports directly to the emperor to do certain things. And we
Yeah.
played with it, and it was super fun. But it made the campaign. You're right, Todd. The moment you introduce the anybody with force powers, the power shift changes, and it just throws the whole game into the fucking force. You
it's
know?
totally fucked. Yeah, because
Yeah.
if you go with the original Star Wars role-playing game from the 80s by
Mhm.
West End, they handled it right. It was so many fucking points to get off the ground as a Jedi. You ended up getting
But
killed
nobody.
if you ran your
Yeah.
mouth that you're a Jedi. That
Yeah.
unless you focused exclusively on lightsaber combat and put everything in control and sense, because you
Yeah.
can add your sense to your lightsaber attack and you can add your control to your lightsaber damage.
Right.
Unless you just lean heavy on lightsaber combat, you're fucked. Because you
Yeah.
start putting stuff into control, sense, and alter, and then you're trying to be able to mind control people, and you have way less dice for mind control than they have willpower to resist.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
all your skills atrophy, all your attributes atrophy, and you suck as a Jedi.
Yeah, and all the other characters in that instance, the way they handled it, it was cool because it didn't allow for that power creep. You want to do Force, that's cool, but you're not gonna be fucking Luke Skywalker, okay? It's
Right.
it
Well,
keeps it like where the other because if not, if you have this OP character, then it's like OP character does everything, and the rest of the party gets resentful because they
well,
don't do anything.
what ends up being useful is everybody else focuses on technology attribute or mechanical attribute or dexterity attribute. So there's
Right.
somebody who's good as a pickpocket thief and shooting. There's one guy
Yep.
who's really good with vehicles, and there's one
Yeah.
guy who's able to fix and repair all the equipment.
Yeah,
And then the Jedi is just really there just to do all the talking because he can use mind control and get through situations. That
yeah, it's almost like an A-team archetype of group, right?
well, you
The
have
Jedi are broken.
if you don't have
Yeah.
an organized group in an RPG, if you just let new players just make whatever they want, they won't cooperate and they'll break up. There needs
Yeah.
to be a reason that these characters are together. Either a vampire embraced several people and you're his children, and
Right.
you basically are like Charlie's fallen angels. You basically answer
Yeah.
to the vampire lord, or
Yeah.
you're a mercenary company and you work for a boss, or
Mhm.
you're a squad and you have a lieutenant offsite that's talking
Right.
to you through a comms. That's the only way to hold players together if they're made independently. If you
Yeah,
make them as a group, like they were already made to work together, then they could theoretically work together. But generally, people have different alignments. And
Mhm.
if it's vampire, they're going to have different paths of enlightenment.
Right.
So, like, unless everyone's on the same path of enlightenment, then they're going to be at odds with each other. Unless everyone's the same clan, they might be at odds with each other. There has to be, so, like, if you were going to have a role playing game set up like this, a good game would be Deathwatch.
Okay.
Each one of you has come from a different chapter. You don't know what anyone else's story is. That
Right.
they have one shoulder pauldron indicating which chapter they're from, but you answer to the Inquisition. And then as the player, as they go through the game, you fucking find out what this guy's backstory is. Like, but this guy, why? Oh, you were accused of being a heretic, or you were hit with a psyker and didn't shapeshift into a demon, so therefore you're corrupted, but
Right.
you're too useful. Or you got half your body ripped off by this salamander, so you now have a cybernetic lower half.
Right.
And you were been cast out of your group because you're no longer considered pure because you have part of your body machine. So only the death watch would take you or some shit like that. And then you guys might find out the Inquisition's actually setting you on suicide missions that you've actually supposed to be getting wiped out. So you break away. So now you're a rogue Death Watch group.
Right.
And then you fall in with the Chaperones or someone like that. And then you just change. And that turns out that's what the Chaperones are, is they're Death Watch people that broke away.
Carcharodons?
Yeah. That's I say it.
Okay.
But yeah, like you could totally do so many cool fucking stories like that that holds people together with mystery rather than just a force like, oh, we meet in an inn, let's go kill a dragon.
Yeah, that's always seemed like so generic, I guess. Like
It doesn't
I
even
mean,
make sense.
it's a wandering hobo, killer hobo thing, right? You know?
Yeah, it's like, hey, we want you to go kill this dragon. Why? Because you're killing these people in this village. It's like,
Don't you have an army for this shit?
why do I give a fuck about those people? It's like, well, we need you to kill him. Why me? It's because you're an adventurer. I'm like, I'm level 1. It's like, we still need you to go kill this dragon. It's like, tough shit. It's like, you've got a whole group to go with. It's like, have any of you people killed a dragon? They're like, no. It's like, why the fuck would you give me those people? They don't know any more than I do. You know, like the whole premise of the way people think D&D works just falls apart like within the first act.
I've never played it. I don't know.
So the best way I've seen that handled from a party mechanics, and I saw it in novel form, is Dragonlance, where everyone has a reason to be in that band. They're all different reasons, but ultimately being in that band helps every one of them advance their own plot, storyline, whatever they're trying to do. That's the way to do it. And another way that I found, this was in a vampire game, was everybody did the characters whatever they wanted, but for the common thread being all of them are outcasts from the Camarilla for some reason. So they band together just to survive.
That's a shit reason. That will never hold up in the real game, though, because
so it's a good starting point. Though.
It's like, a good starting point. Like, hey, nobody wants us. It's like we're anarchs, so we should all hang out together. It's like, no, because in general, if you're an outcast, you've got bad social skills, so that you're unlikely to get along with other outcasts too.
Oh, but you could be an outcast for other reasons, though.
Attacked.
Oh man! All right, guys. Well, I unfortunately have a hard stop, so I'm gonna call it for tonight, guys. Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this insanely nerdy episode. Hit like, subscribe, do all the things, and we are out. Have a good one, everyone.